Hi everyone, I'm Beth Hines, the Executive Director for Community Partners in Action, and welcome to CPA's 23rd Reentry Halloween virtual celebration. I want to thank everybody who helped make this event such a success, as you all will see at home. And thank you to you at home for joining us tonight, for your donations. We truly appreciate all of the support that you provide the agency.
Hi, thank you, Beth, for the really warm welcome. We're here celebrating our 23rd fundraiser for the Resettlement Program, Reentry Services for CPA. You're going to hear some amazing stories today, and we are thrilled that you're here. You're going to hear the passion from our staff. You're going to hear about participants that are succeeding. You're going to hear about collaborations in the community. You're going to hear and see a performance from Judy Dworin Performance Project. It's going to be an amazing event today, and we are thrilled that you're here.
Hi, I'm Jaya Saunders, and this is Community Partners in Actions, the Reentry Welcome Center.
What was it? Let's see if I get the time right. 17 years, 9 months, and 3 weeks ago, I was a returning citizen from the prison population after finishing up a 10-year prison sentence. And I came out with nothing. And I didn't know of CPA. I discharged and returned back to New Haven, where I was born and raised. And back then, there weren't resources like CPA and the Reentry Welcome Center have here in Hartford. So I had to figure it out. The only thing I had when I got out was a plan and a little bit of hope. Till I get to the point where I'm now, where I get to go back into those same prisons that I once was housed to help individuals.
They're not what they did. They're first person first. They're an individual first. They're a human being first. And to be able to treat them as such and remind them that that's who they are. They're not a convict. They're not a prisoner. They're not an inmate as far as we're concerned. They're a person with judicial involvement. And so that's important for us. So as a team, we band together to make sure that their service, if one can't be there, the other one will. If there's there may be, sometimes we have personal stuff that we have to take up and we may not be able to, somebody will step right in to make sure that that service still gets executed, irregardless. I am someone who have lived experience in this same area, that has experienced incarceration, that has experience with substance abuse and or mental health issues, and that has succumbed those things, overcome many of those challenges. In the process of my journey, also have been pardoned in the process. So it's very important to me, the work that I do. It's very passionate to me because I know that you can come back from things and that you can live with these things and be successful in it. And so it's important for me to see other people achieve the same. I've never seen anything like it. In my experience, my lived experience, I never had the opportunity to come to a welcome center where there were individuals to say, welcome home. What is it that you need? To provide me with a hygiene bag that was filled with hygiene products, a towel, a washcloth, to present me with a phone. An individual being released from incarceration, as opposed to being dropped on Lafayette Street with your plastic bag in hand, or being dropped on Weston Street, maybe coming from Brooklyn or one of the other facilities that's far out, sometimes not even being from the area, not knowing, but to come to the Welcome Center where we are able to warm hand you off to some place that you can be more comfortable with. So that is pretty amazing for me. And that makes the Reentry Center very special.
El Reentry Welcome Center es bien importante para seguir ayudando y apoyando a todas las personas que salen de preso, hombres y mujeres que creen que nadie cree en ellos. El centro, aquí estamos en el centro para ayudarlos, para apoyarlos, para que ellos continúen hacia adelante y puedan alcanzar sus metas. Para mí, Community Partners in Action es una familia. Todos estamos aquí para ayudarnos y ayudar sobre todo a nuestros participantes que son bien importantes para nosotros. Pero aparte de eso, el amor empieza por casa. Por eso nosotros nos expresamos y nos ayudamos mutuamente y sobre todo ayudando a todos los clientes que necesitan el apoyo, que viniendo del lugar donde ellos vienen, mucha gente los discrimina.
My passion particularly is to give our clients some hope, particularly when they first come out. Our main objective is to contact them before they actually get here, so that we start to formulate a relationship, we start to formulate a bond, we start to formulate trust, so that when they hit our door, they know who they're going to see. They know what to expect. They know that we're working for them, and they have a sense that they're going to be okay and that we care.
I truly love making a difference in people, as we say, disenfranchised. I realize being a person that has had to build their life from incarceration myself, now I'm an intricate piece of helping others. And that's just so self-satisfying to see that I can make a difference in somebody else's life.
So you're getting a great idea why I've been with CPA for 27 years now. It's our staff, it's the community, it's the partners. But what really makes a program successful is the staff. You heard from Verge, you heard from George, you heard from Amy, Wanda, Gordon, Jaya. This team is what keeps this resettlement and the reentry process alive. Their passion and their commitment is what keeps me in CPA.
Well, right from the start, our team is like a family, and we are a team. We're not, nobody's a separate or a private entity within themselves. We're cross-trained to provide services for whichever program is needed. So we have the ability to do that and to fill in, although it's 6 of us in the center. We really pull together to make sure, because each one of us have just as strong of a passion for the work that we do and a strong desire to help and to provide these services, because we know and we want people to feel like people.
Before I got to CPA, there was only one other person that wanted to help me erase my record. And it was so overwhelming, I didn't do it. And I got here, and it helped. No greater gift. And it's not just employees, we help everybody that walks through those doors.
So today we wanted to take an opportunity to recognize the work that CPA does, but also that with every crime committed, there is an individual that is a victim of that crime. And they're going through their own journey as well. And so we wanted to take a moment of silence to recognize them, to also let you know that a lot of times the clients that we work with have been victims themselves. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Reentry Welcome Center. We opened the doors in September of 2018. Since those doors opened, we've worked with 800 plus individuals. So over 800 people have been served by the Reentry Welcome Center staff. We could not do this alone. CPA is called Community Partners in Action. That partners piece is what makes that center happen as well. We have 40 plus partners that are all committed to providing services for individuals coming out of prison or in the community but have been part of the criminal justice system. So this year we have an opportunity to really highlight and thank some of our partners that have been critical during this pandemic and helping our participants obtain housing. Those are the City of Hartford. I have mentioned Sue Gunderman and I'll continue to mention her. We call her Sue Gunderwoman because she is just that. And she has really helped bring this process together and build this collaboration. Department of Correction and the reentry staff have been incredible and so supportive through this process. Community Health Resources has provided the case management and the additional housing support. Connecticut Coalition and Homelessness has been at the forefront of this partnership. Journey Home has provided the furniture And so over these last probably 15, 16 months, we've been able to successfully house over 100 individuals. And we couldn't do it without these partners. And we are meeting regularly still to ensure that every individual that comes out of prison and is identified as homeless has a place to rest their head that night.
Before the Reentry Welcome Center, folks were dropped off on our street corners with no support, and that is deplorable. And so with partners like CPA and all the programs they offer, as well as the community partners, we've been able to work together to provide men and women coming home access to supports, access to basic needs, access to housing, employment, addressing all the barriers and challenges they face upon reentry, and helping them to be successful. Being dropped off on a street corner is not successful, and having them try and find and navigate our community with no support is only setting them up to fail. And by having a Reentry Welcome Center, especially operated by CPA, with all the supports that they provide, allows us to get folks the best chance possible to be able to reintegrate back home successfully here in our region.
I run our furniture program, so when folks move out of homelessness, we help them get furniture and household goods to get settled, because as most people don't always recognize, when they get a house, it's usually empty. There's not usually a bed to sleep on, a couch to relax on at the end of a long day, so we'd like to fill those gaps so somebody can finally feel at home.
We started working very closely with CPA and with the Reentry Center. Most of the individuals we were working with, especially early on, were connected with the Reentry Center and CPA. And so it was a collaboration. We, CHR, would focus predominantly on the housing piece, and CPA would do a lot of the case management, especially as related to helping these individuals increase their income, whether through employment or applying for benefits. It was very meaningful work, and CPA was amazing to work with.
We've been working with Community Partners in Action for many, many years. Our agency's mission is centered around human dignity, and with that, at the focus of human dignity is working with our people, the residents we have in our custody, our work, our programs, all of the services that we provide to our population, and our future. And so CPA has been an amazing stakeholder and partner with the agency in ensuring that our returning citizens are getting all of the resources and services that they need upon discharge from our custody. So we've had many initiatives with them, such as the Hartford and Waterbury Welcome Reentry Centers, where we offer a warm handoff. Our officers actually transport the returning citizens to those locations where they're dropped off and handed over to the staff here to ensure that they get any resources that they need to be successful in the community. And that's really important for us because some of the residents that we've worked with have been incarcerated for a really long time, and it can be really traumatic coming back into a society where so much has changed. So having CPA staff there to make sure that they're getting off to a great start and that they have that important support system that they need has been integral. So we've enjoyed working with them. We've also worked with them with the Prison Arts Program. And we've also worked with them for SAMHSA, the SAMHSA program. And so we're really excited and very fortunate to have that strong partnership.
A lot of our folks that we're all working with are just trying to survive day to day, and so being able to help them along the way and get to that next kind of layer where they're not just surviving, but they're thriving. They're on their way to a better, stronger life. However that may look.
Housing is a huge piece of the puzzle. That coupled with, lack of education, substance abuse, mental health. A lot of our former residents are stigmatized when they come out with a felony conviction. And, a lot of landlords and housing authorities will not allow someone to live there if they've got a felony conviction. And so it becomes extremely difficult for someone who's got a record to obtain suitable and safe housing.
In my 6 years at Journey Home, we've worked with all sorts of folks moving out of homelessness, people sleeping on the streets, that are coming out of incarceration, that had a mental health issue and were homeless for years and are suddenly getting back housed, many of whom move in with nothing. Because it takes a little while, they end up sleeping on the floor with an air mattress. They end up not having anywhere to put their clothing at the end of the day. So those little things make a big difference to finally make someone feel settled, feel calm, less anxiety, to finally feel like they're on their own and set up and comfortable in their own homes. So being able to work with CPA and work with some of these different agencies that have clients that are in need really just helps everyone get better.
People need to feel like they're contributing members of society. So, people needing to connect to all the same things that we want to connect. It's just vital for their emotional and mental health well-being too. Collaborating with CPA and having this regular communication with, we can do this, we're going to do this, it was just so helpful and just a great collaboration.
How do you want people to return from incarceration? Supported with resources. It's just so important that this impacts not only themselves, their family, community. This makes safer communities when people are engaged, when people have the supports that they need. And this program does that. It connects people back to their communities. And it's not just here in the city of Hartford, but it's across, it's our region, it's across the state. And again, if we want people to stop going in and out of prison, right, cycling in and out, it's so important for us to provide that support. And the Reentry Welcome Center, operated by Community Partners in Action, does that and gives people the greatest opportunity for successful reentry.
The world would look hopeless. The world would look more stigmatizing than it already does for a lot of the residents that leave our custody. The world would look even more scary if CPA Reentry Welcome Centers weren't in existence.
For our participants, we have to stratify success. Success for me is much different than success for another individual. Success for one of our participants might be staying out of prison for 1 week, or not using drugs or alcohol for 2 days. And that is success for that individual. And so we really help individuals define what their own success is, define what their goals are, and help those goals become a reality. This is a great part of the program because you're going to have an opportunity to hear about our incredible participants. Are you ready for that?
How do you label success? Let's start with, I'm not back in jail. That's the first success that we see. And as we see that success, that they don't reoffend, they continue to show up and better themselves. Can't get better than that.
A young lady was released from incarceration during the pandemic. And I remember this young lady saying to me, I want to be better than I was. And how can you help me do that? And so we talked about the services that we provide, but we also talked about the support. Also was able to give her, link her and connect her to and refer her to places that will give her the same support that we have. So it was kind of like a wraparound thing, to wrap around her, to make her feel secure in her, and motivate and encourage her, in her journey. So she hit the ground running. She wanted a job. So I said, okay, so we'll connect you with American Job Center. So she wanted that. And so we got her connected with that to get a resume in place. But then 3 days later, she was calling me saying, hey, I got a job. So she was very motivated, and I encouraged her. I say, yes, you're doing a great job. So that encouragement, that gives the motivation to say that, hey, you're doing great. And then when there was times when she may have felt down on herself, instead of her going to do what she always did, she made a phone call and said, hey, listen, this is how I'm feeling, you know? And then at a time when she may have fell short, right? To be able to hear on the other side of that from the staff at Community Partners in Action that said that, hey, listen, mistakes happen. So what do we do now to change this, to not continue in the spiral? So how do we change that? So you get back, dust yourself off, and get back on track. So she was able to take from that, and not being said, I knew you was going to do it, not getting that pushback of what you've already done and reminding you of the mistake that you made, but encouraging you beyond the mistake. That's what we do here at Community Partners in Action.
We recently had somebody that just came to the Reentry Welcome Center this week, but this person would have never been able to come to the center had the attorney not reached out to CPA and had CPA not gotten involved in terms of working with the Department of Correction to be sure that there was a connection with this woman and our program in Hartford. And I think to myself, what would have happened to this lady if CPA didn't exist, if the Reentry Welcome Center didn't exist? This lady actually was staying incarcerated and refusing to take plea deals because she had nowhere to live. And so for me, that just seems unconscionable. And so we sprung into action on that situation.
I'm actually thinking about a gentleman that has been doing this for so long. His inmate numbers, he's only got 5 inmate numbers. That was just released this last time about 4 months ago. And I've watched him build his life from emergency housing to permanent housing to getting up every day to try to better his life. Another gentleman that spent 40 years in incarceration to come out, go through housing, get permanent housing. Now he has reconnected with his siblings and family in Puerto Rico. And now he's looking for his own 1-bedroom apartment. There are so many success stories within this agency. Several of the women through this is a reentry hub through our SAMHSA program, go on to come out, get jobs, and get their own apartments, get their kids back. There's nothing but success that comes through here. Nothing.
And during this pandemic, people need to hear that there's success, that people are doing it, and that CPA is a part of that success.
Well, some of the things that we had housing. And one of the basic needs anybody needs, whether they're coming out of prison, no matter where they're coming from, they need to have a home. They need to have a roof over their head. They need to feel safe. One of the things that came out of the pandemic is that there were some available funds from DOC that we helped coordinate with community health resources that we were able to provide housing in a pandemic environment. So when an individual was dropped off at our door, we were actually able to provide one emergency housing. So as soon as they got out, they had some housing at a hotel. And then through working with the case managers with other partners, they actually were able to go into more permanent housing.
So one thing about CPA, pandemic or not, we have not missed a beat. A person gets released regardless of any pandemic that's going on, and CPA is still here to welcome them home. The only difficult part is we weren't able to take walk-ins based on the pandemic itself. However, anybody that got dropped off, there was somebody always here to greet them. Weekdays, weekends, doesn't matter. Somebody will always be here.
So one lady, she had came home and she was totally scared and nervous because, obviously she was experiencing the pandemic and incarceration, but just coming home is totally different. And she was really just sat here and was just stuck for about 20 minutes about how everything was closed down because she had made a plan about the places that she wanted to go and get things done. And we had to explain to her how you can't just go somewhere now. You have to make an appointment or they're not even open. But a couple weeks later, she got back on her feet and kind of adjusted well, and she was able to find employment, kind of get back with her daughter. She also got a car. So it was good to see that success story during the pandemic, even though she was very scared and, but I was happy to see her overcome those different challenges.
Today, you have an opportunity to hear from one of our incredible participants that has worked really closely with Amy. I'm not going to give you too much information other than Rolando is an amazing individual.
Hey, hello. How you doing? Everybody, look at my house. You can go inside. Antes que yo conociera, ¿sabes?, sobre el programa, que yo me orienté, yo hice un request al programa que está en la cárcel y fui aprobado. Entonces ahí me dieron una entrevista en la cárcel donde me transfirieron el caso a mi case manager Amy Arroyo y de ahí para adelante pues fue el proceso. Muchas veces Amy me llamó dándome, tú sabes, con apoyo, diciéndome, mira, estamos en tu ayuda, no te preocupes, solamente echa para adelante, ¿sabes? Progresa, ahora que cuando salga, ¿sabes? Tienes que llamarme rápido para seguir todo el proceso y pues me dio más confianza y así fue que empezó todo, ¿ves? Y cuando me contestaron en la cárcel que el programa me aceptó, pues Amy rápido se puso en comunicación conmigo muchas veces, a pesar que en la cárcel a veces los cónsules dan problemas, ¿sabes? Para estas cosas, Amy pues siempre estuvo ahí, estar sordo y pues gracias a Dios aquí estoy. Yo pues todas las mañanas pues siempre recibo un texto de mi case manager, ¿cómo está? Le contesto, siempre que tengo, ¿sabes?, que ellos necesitan verme para cualquier cosa, yo vengo, cuando yo necesito yo siempre voy ahí, ¿sabes? Como o sea, yo encuentro como que este programa como que es ese motorcito a motivar, ¿tú me entiendes? A que las personas que han pasado las cosas como yo, ¿sabes?, vean que a pesar que uno hace cosas que le afectan al Estado y el Estado castiga, a la misma vez el Estado te da la oportunidad de ayudar. Y son cosas que por lo menos yo, tú sabes, veo como persona y agradezco porque aprenda a perdonarte como persona para que aprendas a perdonar a los demás y solo tú puedes tomar la decisión. Yo, que me conoce, sabe que mi vida no ha sido fácil, pero aquí estamos. Y a mí mismo, porque aproveché las ayudas que mandó este programa, aprovecho cada minuto el aire que Dios me da para respirar, aprovecho cada minuto la salud que tengo y aprovecho cada minuto para decirle a ustedes mismos que gracias a los que ayudan a este programa.
I love my play. You know, I feel happy, you know. Every day I wake up from my job and come back. And si no working in my job, I'm working in the building, you know, around. I want to cook every night, whatever we eat, you know.
So this is the part of the program where I get to introduce an award that has been part of this event for the last 6 years. It's the Sister Nancy Audette Outstanding Achievement Award. And it goes to one of our participants. As you're understanding through this event, it's really important that we celebrate those successes of our participants. Sister Nancy started the Resettlement Program in 1992 with a thought and a vision to help people as they transition back into the community. That program has been operating successfully ever since. For all of those that have worked with Sister Nancy, they have been benefited greatly by her passion, her understanding, her acceptance. She's been a role model to me, a friend, a mentor, and it is an honor to know her. So here is the 2021 award presented by Sister Nancy herself.
I'm Sister Nancy Audette, and I'm a Sister of Mercy, originally from the state of Vermont. And I came to Connecticut in the mid 80s to work with the prison population. And I was very fortunate to be connected to what was then the Connecticut Prison Association, then changed to Community Partners in Action. And in 1992, with a few other people, I started the Resettlement Program, which was a focus obviously on people who had completed their sentences and who were being resettled in the community. My pride is in seeing what we started in 1992 continuing and expanding and really succeeding and helping so many individuals. It is my honor to present the 2021 Sister Nancy Audette Outstanding Accomplishment Award to Jamal Butler. Jamal was a resident at CPA's work release program several years ago. And while at the work release program, he participated in a 10-week culinary arts training through CPA's Training to Work federal initiative. Jamal successfully completed his culinary training at the kitchen at Billings Forge. At his graduation, Jamal gave a speech and acknowledged the following people who had provided him guidance, support, teaching, mentoring, and who really believed in him. He noted especially the awesome chefs at the kitchen, Carl and Beck, his co-student, staff at CPA, his sisters Michelle and Doris, and his pastor. After completing his training, Jamal was hired by the Pond House Cafe in Elizabeth Park, and he quickly became an important part of the family at the Pond House. Momentarily, you will hear from some of the Pond House staff about what Jamal meant to them. He worked at the Pond House for 7+ years. Sadly, Jamal passed away in February this year due to COVID-19. Jamal was a spiritual man, and his smile could light up a room. He will be deeply missed, but his infectious spirit will live on. Jamal's sister Michelle will be accepting this award on his behalf.
I feel honored that, that you all chose him. And so that means a lot to our family, to see that how he was thought of as an individual to make a difference. To me, it is reflection of who he was and what he stood for. It was about a week or so before his end of journey of life that he said, "Oh, you know what today is?" And I'm like, "No." He said, "It's been 6 years." So that right there, saying that he's been 6 years working with this program, to me impacted his life, because he continued on that journey of doing what he loved best, and that which was cooking. He felt supported, and he felt that someone believed in him for him to continue coming to work every day. I think it impacted him because it gave him hope, for one. So coming from out of his situation, that he had something to look forward to, which was positive. So to me, again, it gave him motivation to continue his dreams, his goals in life, knowing that he had something to look forward to doing. So that it impacted his life greatly. I believe the program would be, I would consider it like an extended family, because some people that are incarcerated, they may not have that support. So for a person that's incarcerated, knowing that there's someone that is showing some type of interest and concern that will help them, look forward and be a productive citizen? Well, I would like to say for those who are, say, contributing to the program, to continue contributing to the program, because as my brother's receiving this award, it seemed like the program is something that leads to success, mentally, physically, emotionally, as positive individuals. So I would say that to continue that, and those, who is carrying on the award of what is being done, because there are so many that can benefit by it.
So Michelle, we wanted to thank you for being here today. Jamal, as you know, because he was your brother, was an incredible man who offered a lot to this community before he passed away. I was fortunate enough to get to know Jamal pretty well because I was overseeing the culinary arts program that he was involved in. And I'll tell you what, that smile can light up a room. And CPA will miss him, but we are grateful to have known him. So thank you. You're also going to hear from the Pond House Cafe. Jamal was part of that family over there. And for those of you that know, Louis Lista, who is the owner of the Pond House, has provided the space, the staff, and the food for the last 23 years. Right? So we want to give a huge shout out. But you're going to hear what Jamal meant to the staff at the Pond House. And it's so impactful. And you'll understand the kind of man that he was.
Jamal was our first intern in the training program that started at Zest.
I worked with him from when he first came into Zest, and saw him grow, and we really weren't sure. We were kind of seeing how the program would play out and how we would set things up, and he just was such a success story. And seeing him grow and having him come in not knowing how to do anything really, and teaching him, and him being able to put out lunches for, 50 people in a day, and help with that, and see how proud he was of himself. And then see that success grow as he moved here and just found his place, and this was just, the right fit for him. What do we do to remember him? We don't want that to fade over time, or for him to be forgotten. He's going to always live in our hearts here.
Looking at the jacket, the one that sticks out to me the most is saying, "Hey, how's it going?" So, and I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm quite sure he said it's going well, because of the other ones that are showing that they stated about his big smile and his bear hug and how they felt around him. And that's the same thing, because he had this presence about him. And so his presence, he didn't have to say anything. His presence alone said, "I'm here, and I'm strong, and I'm able, and I will continue." So this is, I could just see him in the shirt, wearing it proudly.
I mean, we played a role in helping him do certain things, but he was already on that path. He had his spiritual path. He knew where he was going. He had a huge heart. Anytime anybody needed help with anything, he was willing to help. Anytime we were doing a fundraiser for CPA or another organization, he would volunteer to help.
I got to have the pleasure of working with him once he was moved over here. So I was able to see what the results of the program can do for an individual. So I actually, if I hadn't heard the story from himself that he shared with me, I wouldn't have had any idea. And then from having him here, I got to see what the program actually can do for an individual. And it was just such a wonderful, I don't want to say result, of seeing what somebody who actually does want to be better and get themselves involved in a program like CPA because they want to improve themselves, because I don't believe a program even can work unless somebody wants to work on themselves, and someone like Jamal definitely wanted that. When you see these people succeeding, it just gives you that warm feeling inside that you don't always get working in the restaurant business. So, you know, these individuals deserve that second chance, which some people are not as welcoming to give, and they deserve it. And it's so worth seeing them succeed and grow. The benefits are just tremendous.
CPA is really key in doing that. You know, they look to work with the clients and find a situation that will work for them. And they never stop. You know, anytime, you know, everybody I know that's been in the program, if they reach out for extra help from CPA, CPA is always there. And that's key to having somebody be successful.
So I feel like I have the best part of this whole program because I get to introduce everybody and kind of highlight what we're doing. And now I get an opportunity to introduce Judy Dworin from the Judy Dworin Performance Project, JDPP. Judy has been that piece of our collaboration, helping people work through their trauma, through the arts, through dance, through poetry, through spoken word. And they're doing this amazing healing and not even knowing that it's happening. And so this collaboration that we've had with Judy goes back many years. We call it New Beginnings because it's a collaboration with Judy, with Trinity College, with our women from Resettlement, with our men from the other programs, with our staff. After a 10-week period, they conduct an amazing performance. You're going to have an opportunity to listen to Judy introduce that segment and then see and hear from some of the individuals that are part of this collaboration. Judy, huge shout out to you. Thank you for what you're doing, and thank you all the staff that work for JDPP.
Hi everybody. It's really great to be able to be with you tonight and to share an excerpt from New Beginnings, which is an arts residency that we've been doing in partnership with CPA since 2010, also in collaboration with Trinity College. And this is an opportunity for Trinity College students and those that are returning to the community from prison, either from York Correctional Institution or from Cybulski, to engage with these students in a deep sharing in writing and in art and performance, and creating a performance at the end of 10 weeks that we've been able to continue throughout this COVID period on Zoom. So it's very special to give you a little taste of what this very, very important engagement is, and also to hear the authenticity, the honesty, and the courage of those that participate, and the depth to which they go in their own search within themselves and together. So congratulations to CPA for being such a wonderful partner and organization, and one that we plan to work with for many years to come. Thank you so much.
I was fooled, bamboozled by this phrase. This phrase caused me damage. No comeback. Tell it to me once, I would say sure. Tell it to me twice, I would say sure, okay, but what did you do it for? It pains me not to trust. I want to fuss, I want to scream. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you're sorry to me. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry that your sorries have become meaningless to me. It's gonna take time, so much time. But I'm sorry that I'm sorry has become meaningless to me.
Meeting up with friends, bars and restaurants, dinner parties, sports events, and the wedding. It could have gone either way. Sometimes you drove, sometimes I did. It was bound to happen. Most of the time we drank, sometimes we didn't. It's the way we were living. From the beginning, I was glad it was me who lived, not because I wanted to lose you, not because I'm selfish, and not because I'm afraid to die. It could have gone either way. It was bound to happen, the way we were living. I've always been grateful that you're not the one living with the consequences.
I'm Black, but the melanin that illuminates my skin came with a smack. She's 19 inches, 6 pounds, 2 ounces, healthy, but Black. She's gonna be a teen mom, Black. She's gonna be loud, ghetto, don't forget angry, Black. Uneducated, underpaid, cause she's brown skin, kinky hair, Afro beats, cocoa butter, she's Black. She's fried chicken, watermelon, Kool-Aid, collard greens, don't forget the cornbread, Black. She's cornrows, bantu knots, box braids, Black. Yes, I'm Black, but I'm success. I'm Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, Barack Obama. I'm Claudette Calvin, Thurgood Marshall, Ella Baker. I'm kente cloth, hijabs, bonnets, headscarves. I'm rollers, bubbles, beads. I am me. The Dougie and Dutty wine flow through my body when music touches my soul. It resembles my skin tone like gold. There's so many secrets I hold. Listen to what I'm about to unfold. My parents have veins that flow with gold, like our ancestors that have never been told. We are king and queens, held in bondage, but we remain supreme. Our culture is powerful by all means. We rule the lowest lands and the highest peaks. Even in our children, it can be seen. Just like Martin Luther King, I have a dream. I dream that Black excellence will be taught in schools. I dream for equal representation and appreciation. I dream that all stereotypes will be erased. I dream for my brothers and sisters that didn't get the chance to. I dream, I dream, I dream for the culture.
In this moment, I am nervous. I can't sit still. I have been waiting for this moment here at York CI for 27 years. In this moment, I am terrified and excited, and I don't know which to feel the most. This has been the safest place I have lived in. I don't have to worry about walking down the sidewalk at night. I had no worries that my home would be broken in and someone would be waiting to violate me. In this moment, I don't want to go, yet I don't want to stay. But I've waited for 27 years to be on my way. In this moment, I have people waiting for me. And it shames me that I'm terrified to leave the safety of these fences. I have lost so much, yet I have gained even more than I have ever thought I would. In this moment, I have to carve out a space for myself in the world. I have the tools and I know how to use them. In this moment, I have to have faith in my ability to be there for myself, to be the person I have learned to like and now love. In this moment, I have to put my big girl pants on and take this exodus moment by moment in this moment.
These were our moments.
With all of you.
Today is about hearing about the amazing work of CPA, right? But it's also a fundraiser. And this is always my most comfortable moment, asking you all for your support. Some of you have been to every single fundraiser that we've had, all 23, and we can't thank you enough. So I'm gonna start it off today, all right? I have $100. I'm gonna donate $100 to this cause today. I'm going to also call out my wife, Lisa Baker. She's going to donate $100. And the really cool thing is I got an email from my mom this morning telling me that my father and her really wanted to support Reentry in a different way this year. And they're donating $500. If you're interested in matching this donation, you know that little chat box? Put your name on there, give a commitment. It doesn't have to be $100. It could be more or it could be less. And we appreciate anything you give. There will also be a link in the chat box that you can donate there, but please donate.
If everybody gave $25, you know, we would end up being able to provide clothing for our clients, provide bus passes, cell phones. I know that we've heard throughout this presentation that, you know, how important cell phones are right now and the prepaid minutes. So all of that goes into our basic needs account for the Reentry Welcome Center. And so the donations coming in tonight are specifically for our participants. They are for their basic needs. And so know that your donation is directly positively impacting the people that are coming out of prison, that the people in our care.
So as the Director of Operations, my vision for the Reentry program, the Reentry Welcome Center in Hartford and Waterbury, is to provide a place where people feel welcome, where they can share their stories and continue to succeed in the journey. But if I had a vision, I would have Reentry Welcome Centers in every community throughout the United States that were mirrored off of our Hartford Reentry Welcome Center. Because the real goal on that day of release is to welcome someone back in their community. That is not something that happens very often. But when an individual walks into our Reentry Welcome Center, they feel welcome and they leave better off than when they came.
While amazing here at City Hall, and we love having having the Reentry Welcome Center here at City Hall, is small. You know, we've seen over 800 people come through our door in this space, which is amazing. However, we could do so much more with co-location of partners with a larger space. And so the vision of the Reentry Welcome Center is to expand, to grow to a larger venue where we can then co-locate community partners on site. Really do have that centralized hub that we all envision this to be, and just help it to be able to serve more people.
We want to be a one-stop shop, okay? So when you come in here, you not only get the Reentry Welcome services, the partners that we work with, you can get their services too in one place. Now just imagine, you come in here and you need to talk about employment, and you need to talk about housing, and you need to talk about education, and you need to talk about a birth certificate, and you need to talk about an ID. What if all that was in one place?
I want to thank everybody that's here tonight. I'm so grateful that you are willing to spend your evening with us. And I hope that your takeaway is that you can see the passion that our staff have to serving our clients, and also that you can see the resilience of our participants. And I'd like to take an opportunity to thank this evening's sponsors who have generously donated to this event. They include our gold sponsor, Smith Brothers, our silver sponsors, Wellmore Behavioral Services, AdNet Technologies, and the Connecticut Health Foundation. Supporting sponsor, Chris Squires Print and Promotional Products, and our legacy sponsor, the Pond House Cafe. Thank you so much, Louis, and your team at the Pond House for supporting this event for the past 23 years. You guys are amazing.
It's important to keep these reentry services open because a lot of people don't have the support that they need, and that's why we're here to try to change the recidivism rate and to change the mindset of people that are incarcerated or that are homeless, and to try to get them back on their feet and try to make them see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's power in numbers. 1 in 3 individuals have, are justice involved, have a criminal record, and 95% of everybody incarcerated will be coming home.
We have our former clients come and talk to individuals and show them how thankful they are and how grateful they are that somebody cares. I think there's a number of individuals out there who care. And how can I contribute? If you want to make a difference and contribute to an organization that's been making a difference for many years, that's CPA. If you want to see some results of your contribution, that's CPA. Get involved.
The mission of CPA and the guiding belief is that people can change if given the opportunity. And so believing in second chances, and I'll tell you what, believing in third chances or fourth chances, because sometimes people need that extra support because their lives have been so challenging. And as a society, we make it even more challenging for people to come out and be successful without that stigma of having a criminal record. My passion is seeing people succeed and understanding that process, sometimes why they can't, and ensuring that I'm not part of the problem, but part of the solution.
I was going in and out because I couldn't figure life out. There weren't places like this to help me put my life together. There was nobody to give me dignity. There was none. And that's what we get back here. To give people back their dignity, walking through that door. So, I'm glad to be a part now.
So we're coming to the end of our program today. And we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for being a part of this program. We couldn't do it without you. And we appreciate you being here and your support. You've heard from our staff, right? You've heard from our partners. You've heard from Michelle, who received the award for her brother Jamal. You've heard from Rolando. We ask that if you can, to donate to this cause. Because the reality of our programs is that when you help an individual that is coming out of prison to be successful, they become a contributing member of the community, which increases the safety of that community. So the reality is, every time one of our participants succeeds, everybody in the community succeeds. I have a lot of friends and family out there too, and the partners. I want to thank you for being here as well, and thank you for your ongoing support of CPA and our reentry services.